Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm your host Mirko and hope you're having an awesome day today. We're going to continue with our daily questions app. Currently says awesome. Actually it used to say goals. Because the question is, did I do my best to set clear goals today? Question. We're back to the default questions. So today I want to continue on this with a couple of things to be precise. On the one hand, I finally want to tackle the localized default questions. I think I have an idea how to do it now. And other than that, I want to try to avoid resetting the daily questions. So today's dailies, the number of questions and your answers get reset. When you reset, when you change the order of these questions here. And I want to avoid that, I think I want to avoid that. More in the sense of it takes the next question that has not been answered. So if you have answered the goals question, that might get more complicated. But I do hope to make it possible, because then we don't need any information about them being reset and so on. And the only time that questions are actually reset is basically when you archive a question or when you add a new one. Yeah. Maybe we can even figure out a way to add a new question without changing stuff. So that's kind of a stretch goal. Adding a question does not reset dailies. In the super stretch goal, we're basically doing a complete you call this stretch position where you have your legs like this, but I don't know the English word for that. Archiving a question does not set the dailies. If we get it that far, that would be amazing. But these two are optional. This one is in fact kind of optional as well. If it works, it works. I do have an idea on how to make it work. But if it doesn't, it's not that bad. Make this slightly better. Shift the volume, the microphone slightly. Make audio check. Yeah, working. And then let's get into it. Localized default questions. I think if we go for the second one. So on first app open, after the language detection finished, oh, that's going to be annoying. Set the questions with translated title and long question. So, for that to work, let me see what I did here. That's very small feature on the history. It's still under feature flag after all, but history shows newest entries first. There we go. There's a quality of life feature. So let's see. We need to question slice. First of all, I think we need to get hold somehow of the information whether we have already initialized the daily questions or not. To so, I think, I mean, what we could do is, we track it by having an empty array here in questions, which would just compromise doing this. Alternatively, we might actually want to create a separate state for that. Track that, depending on that state, we then call a specific function. But let's try it with this. And then see how it works. So if we have this, we probably somewhere need to call the function that initializes the questions. We already have a questions empty flag here. Where does that come from? Select empty active. Select is empty active. Oh, that's going to be true. Oh man, there we go. Already causing trouble. What do we do with it? App gets stuck without loading draw menu. No questions are available. That's not good. I mean, if we have this, instead of returning, let's just try to do the following. We call set questions, which we probably don't just want to initialize, but we probably also want to come from the reducer, or user map dispatch. Okay, that was just one table. So now we have that one, and we have it linked up with React, and now we can set those questions to be, let's for the time being just say default questions. Work, because you want the payload questions, I guess. Yeah, that works. So, reload the app. I think we have to completely remove the state that we already have. Right. Do we have a notification? Okay. Because it was 9 o'clock, huh? Yes. And then we clear the cache, remove all the complete storage. We throw it over to there. Then what we can do, we can map the queue maps to an object that says .queue, and we want the title to be T of. We do not have T yet, apparently. Const or use translation, not transition. T is equal to translation, and inside of here we can hopefully say something. Default questions colon codes colon q.title. We do need to make these constants then. In that case. Yes, const. They're actually everywhere where we have title. Const. There we go. And now reloads should not have Cycling. Because it's string up here. Let me pick that type. I mean, alternatively, we can say goals, progress, nope, meaning, just hard coding. It's just 6 or 7 questions, so we should be fine. Happiness, social, engagement, and finally highlight. Do we need the as const? I think we do. We don't. Good. Subscript being good. Thank you. All right. So now argument of type all of these is not assignable to parameter of type translation key, but we can easily change that by going into our translations, English somewhere. Code questions, colon. Go. This, that, make a colon, that, and make it a string. Save. We need a comma. Save. No. Oh, wait. I think I see the problem. There is a comma missing. There we go. So, in English, this is just goals. It's exactly the same. Hopefully, just this. Yeah. Now for the German part. This we Ziele, Fortschritt, in. Is there a better word for that? Ryan Lisse. Welcome.
Ryan Liss joined our tea time.
Cheers. How are you doing? You're having an awesome morning. Depending on your time zone, it might also be evening. Okay. So it's late. I want to go to Leo. Ignore all of those. Meaning, Bedeutung, Sinn. Good morning from Amsterdam. Hey, sweet. Amsterdam. One of the cities that's on my list to visit. Been there for a while. But for whatever reason, my travel plans always went eastwards. Eastwards. But I will be in Amsterdam probably next post. So I've heard that Amsterdam is one of the cities with the most cyclers. And it's like one of the heavens of cycling. Coming from Germany, where everything is car, and everything is directed towards cars, while not possessing a car myself, by the way. I hope for the mecca of cycling someday. Change this into Japanese mode. Bikes area. Do you possess a bike, or are you even on the car side, which is also fine? Tokyo. Oh, here. Bike and scooter. Ah, scooter is nice. I always have this. You probably know the very 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 old movie. Travel in Rome. Movie old. I don't know. Roman Holiday. Yeah, that one. And I think. No. I want that one. Who was it again? Okay. The name again. What happened after all? Oh, okay. So I did remember the right person. I think there's a scooter scene where they drive to Rome. Now, when I think scooter, I always think of that. Anyway, we're currently coding a self-improvement app. Maybe I broke it, maybe I didn't. It looks kind of broke now that I've made the last changes. But that's probably only on the emulator. It's actually fine on an actual device. So basically, you go through these questions. For example, did I do my best to set clear goals today? And then you answer this, giving yourself points between 1 and 10. 0 is a 10. And doing this every day. So going through these questions like, did I do my best to set clear goals? Did I do my best to make progress towards my goals? Did I do my best to find meaning? And you reflect every time, and you start pushing yourself and pushing yourself your own limits, and you do that every day, doing the retrospective every day, seeing what you did good, seeing what you did wrong. Starting to understand your strong points and your weaknesses, things that you want to work on, things that you want to improve. And over time, while it might happen that you will not actually get better in terms of your scoring because your own expectation grows with your skill level. That's one thing that coaching assessments have identified. I have a background with a coaching company, by the way. You will definitely improve, most likely, and you will improve more than before. On the one hand, the direct research of this method, so it comes from a person, leadership coach called, his name is Marshall Goldsmith. He worked with all kinds of clients on the CEO level and more. The direct research of this method implies that there will be people, a lot of people who actually improve, and very, very, very few that actually get worse. But at the very, very least, you will definitely feel a change with a bit of a high probability. Sorry, I'm a mathematician. So I always talk in probabilities. Nothing in this world is for sure. Yeah, and at the very end, so after you answered all of these questions, we also have like a question that you can write full text. What was my personal highlight and why? It's not in the original. Not in the original from Marshall Goldsmith. That's kind of an addition from me, but I do want to include it in this app by default because it displays that you can actually have full text questions, and showing the features is also part of selling the app, right? In my case, I have this question that's the small Y part, to better understand what I actually value and what is important to me. So highlight Evan, which finally you see a summary, and then you can just confirm it and push it into your history, which then shows some graphs so that you can identify more areas of improvement and so on and so on. Classic movie, nice app, learning TypeScript. Yeah, sweet. Very nice, very nice. TypeScript is amazing. I love it. Actually, I started with TypeScript and then had to learn JavaScript afterwards. It was hell. And every single time I lose type safety, every single time I use type safety, I immediately make a typo or something like that. Yeah. So I'm currently trying to. So this app is available already in English, German, and Japanese. And what I'm trying to do, so when you open the app for the first time, it automatically selects your system language out of these three. Otherwise, it chooses English. And what I'm trying to do is to also... Did I crash it? No, I just opened that one. What I now want to do is to also localize or translate automatically these questions on first app open. But only on the very first one. You can, by the way, also customize these questions. If you don't want the goals question, but or the progress question, you can also call it... wasn't there another word for progress? I don't know. I don't know. Progress. 2 works. And that would change here as well. So I want this to be automatically translated into your language. So I'm currently doing the translation. Maybe I should first of all, before doing the translation, check whether it actually works. Spending time on the translations before even knowing that it will work. So we have 2 or 3 translations here. So let's try that out. We already have it hooked up. So we have to first select a language, which is add a language, say one. Okay. We switch our system language. As you can see here, the system language now changed. I now have to, come on, for whatever reason the whole device is slow. You have to completely reset the cache and all of that fun stuff, and even the storage. Do I have TypeScript errors? There we go. Are you working on any specific project, by the way? Oh, we do have a issue here. Ah, right. Inside of where is this T function defined? There is. Somewhere here we have the translation keys. I need to add default questions here for type safety. And no errors anymore. Good. it worked. Nice. Can you see your highlights later? You can. So currently that part is... do you mean highlights like the question? Or do you mean like specific days that were absolutely fantastic, or specific days that were absolutely the worst? Because you can see your answers later, although it's currently under feature flag. And the app, by the way, it is currently in closed beta, but I'm trying to push for the release in like, I hope, 2 weeks. The app for music videos. Ah, nice. I always wish YouTube would have the possibility to just switch it off. Like the music continues, but you can just like switch the power off, like so. Okay, that didn't work. Like so. And then the music continues. I so much desire this feature, but I think they made it pay. YouTube Pro or whatever it's called. Summary of your best highlights. That's not in there. It's also very, very hard to decide what your best highlights would be. What you can do, so highlight, let's just say blah blah, is see your, if we enable the dev mode currently, you can see your past performance, this one, and then you also see your highlights. But a real best highlight where we pick out those for you, we do not have at this point. I'm also not sure how. Sometimes it would be nice, right? You go through this list, maybe you see the sum. One way to do it is probably check the average points that you got. I mean, we could just, since these are numbers between 1 and 10, we could just sum them up and build an average. And then if you have, we just show you the super highlights, kind of, would be the 10 days or 3 days with the highest points ever. That would be an option for a simple version. One thing that I try to avoid, which limits our ability to work here, is anything that goes to any kind of servers or anything that goes to a remote. Everything should be on the local device, because otherwise the privacy policies and all of that fun stuff will go terribly wrong. Google can be strict about that, or at least I want to be strict about it, because it does matter legally, and I don't want to pay those bills if somebody asks me to show them. And also I don't want to answer any kind of what is it, private data access requests, data privacy access requests. Yeah, you can reflect on your month by looking at the statistics in particular. So this is a development feature that we have here, where you can then see a graph of it. So with this you can, for example, identify, okay, orange is not that great. Maybe I should work on my social, or I should put more focus on the social component. But I'm doing very well on progress. This is progress. Currently we have the German translations, but since you, I suppose living in Amsterdam doesn't mean you can speak Dutch, but if you can, Fortschritt is probably a word that you might even understand. Since I'm a speaker of Lower German. I know I can at least read Dutch, most of it. And I can navigate Dutch websites. So we probably know the word. Okay. Yeah, it is similar after all. It is similar after all. So yeah, so that's one way that you can achieve this reflection over a longer period of time. Currently, my mock data is only like this is all of this is mock data, as you might be able to see. But by having the same values for like almost half a month. Yeah. So that is possible. As I said, this currently it's in closed beta. We are closed alpha. Where is my over? So I don't dox anything. Oh. Yeah, here's the Google Play page, which is unfortunately currently only visible to those people who are logged in and that are in a specific alpha tester list. You have to provide those emails basically. So, but it will come soonish. I hope sooner than later. Did I? Oh, there. Back, and then let's. So we've seen that our translation approach does work indeed, which means we can now just provide the translations, smooth out the bumps that we have left, and then I think we're good to go with finally the last translation feature that we have, which is localized default code. Happiness. Skype maybe. What is sign? Beziehungen. Engagement. Also a German word. I think we need. Translate. Oh, highlight would also be already a German word, I think. So these translations, 2 words are missing. Let's see. Why is my music? So your music application, is it on the Play Store somewhere that we can look at, or is it actually a closed source project? If it's on the Play Store, feel free to share link so other people can look at it as well. What did I want to do? I want to look at translations. Here we go. We need Japanese, so we look at Tanashi Japanese. I go to page of Japanese translations, dictionary, and progress first. And which of these? All of these mean progress. Cool. Zenshin. Good work in progress. The Next.js app. Ah, sweet. We're doing a lot of React here. Ooh, I like that picture. Nice. Sign in with Google, very nice. I've recently, the last couple of days, I've worked again with Amplify, which is an AWS framework for all kinds of stuff. And I work with authorization on that front. Let's go to Rock. No videos yet. Okay, that's fine. Suppose the database still needs to be filled. Neu vibes. Sweet. So neu is the Dutch word for new, I guess, which is exactly the same as in German. Happens to be. Sweet. Thank you so much. Nice. Keep us updated on that. Looking forward. Where was I? Progress. Demo. I feel. Then engage. Okay, engage. Deployment. Not quite. Buddy. Come back. Engage. Engagement better. Yeah, I think we go with. Basically, it says doing your best. And that the Gambaru is like the word that you hear everywhere in Japan. Like cultural thing, or almost. That one was taken, so I used German. Oh, I see. Yeah. He posted. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So we've got those, and now I think we also need the long question. Long to be translated. Oops, I'm in German. Something like default question, and then question long, dollar question long. I mean, what we can do is just remove the type here. And oh wait. Oh no, never mind. Never mind. We just do title again. But we prefix it with question long. And then this should be a question long minus pro. Let's not take the minus. Then we have its values here again. Come on, good. Heading out. Going back. See you later. Have a nice day. Thank you for joining in. Take all of these, remove all of those, take all of these. We move to our translations. Where are they? There. First of all, English. Where are you? Plop, 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 plop. Take all of these. Um, and that. And then now we have to copy them from the default questions over to here. And there's a nice thing that was shown recently. If you do this and you have the exact number of selections cursors, now we just have to figure out a way to copy all of these. Now you go over to here. Hello, Dark God HP.
Dark God _HP Frunner joined our tea time.
Yeah, how are you doing? Everything good on your end? Now, so we copied the exact number 7 in terms of place of positions, place the lines in our clipboard, and now we can just paste it, and it pastes exactly the ones that we want. And I love it. It just makes things so much simpler. I am German, but I will not speak in German. This is an English speaking stream after all. For accessibility to a larger audience, mostly. A lot of people on Twitch are not from Germany, so I hope that's okay with you, that I will continue to speak English. So we have those people questions. We can now translate them into German. Well, and since I know the questions by heart, ich mein, do I write Bestes in capitals? Dark God, you have to help me. I don't know grammar. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um meine Ziele zu erreichen? That's wrong. Mir klare Ziele zu setzen. Dann habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um Fortschritt entgegen meine Ziele zu machen. Question mark. Next. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um Bedeutung finden, in dem habe ich mein gegeben, um glücklich zu sein. Dark God, what are you working on? Are you learning any kind of coding or any kind of skill recently? Habe ich mein positive soziale Beziehungen zu erlangen, aufzubauen. Habe ich mein Bestes, um engagiert zu sein. Was war mein persönlicher Höhepunkt des Tages und warum? History question not part. Correct. Do I miss something? Oh, I am mixed up now, the position. There. There we go. And in Japanese. Ooh. This is more complicated than I. 正しいわけを決めるには、ために何を。No, that's wrong. 正しい。clear. 具体的な。よし。立てる。勝つために立てる。ために、頑張りましたが、Ooh, this is more complicated, the Japanese translations. I think I will need some help on that front. 目標を、目標に上達ために、だけできだけ頑張りが、やってることに意味を感じるためにできるだけ頑張りましたか？ Yeah, that's perfect. That いること活躍Next one. Happiness. Did I do my best to be happy today? Yeah, was になるためにいるためにできるだけ頑張りましたか？人間関係をThat works. I think that just another pronunciation of this. Please. Oh. That's Izuku. Build to construct. Oh, that sounds good. Excellent, favorable, satisfactory, Yoko. Maybe so. Next one. That's how do I translate that? How do I translate the engagement question? Which is about basically trying to do your best. Yes, we just do it directly. All the time I need. Kind of. このはい当店一番いいことなんかなぜそれがなぜそれがいいこの People say highlight in Japan, I don't know. Hair highlights. Apparently not. You know. Highlight. O Ame. Yocho. Highlight. Man, it's hard to translate if the culture context is so completely different. Let's take this one, but it's probably wrong. For now, I will ask a native Japanese speaker to change these anyway, I suppose. 何でしたか？で、それがでしたか？マーク。Safe. That's it. And that, I think we can try. TypeScript working again? Yes, perfect. Can try to reset everything once more. Way. Then we restart the server. Whoops. Code. And we should see everything in German now. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, mir klare Ziele zu setzen. Ziele, Beweis. Fortschritt. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um Fortschritt entgegen Ziel zu machen. But did I spot a typo there? Fortschritt entgegen meine Ziele zu machen. No, ja, thanks. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um Bedeutung zu finden, dem, was ich tue. Yep, Glückseligkeit. Mein Bestes geben. Tätigkeit. Zufriedenheit. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um positive soziale Beziehungen aufzubauen. Yep. Engagement in German. Habe ich mein Bestes gegeben, um engagiert zu sein. Höhepunkt, persönlich Punkt des Tages und warum. Bla bla. Yeah. Then we see the summary. It's very nice. Let's check this for Japanese as well. Oops. Reset the cache and the persistence as well. We have to go to the settings, system settings. And now we have to change it to because in German now. And let's add Japanese. Put it to the top. Everything will look bingo. Already one typo. Fixed. Oh, not typo, completely different word. And let's open it. Oh, I think, wait. Open the app. Will it work? Yeah! No! Oh no! Display bugs. But it does work. It cuts part of the display. What does it? Wait, one. Yeah, there is something missing. Oh man, that's a library thing then. Question screen, points question. Title. Yeah. Font size. 2. Why do I set the font size anyway? That's the default title size? Seriously? For showing a title. Is there a different one that I'm not aware of in React Native Paper? Header. Paper header? No, that's not it. Do you have any other kind of headers? Data table, list, subheader, title, the title. Doesn't even show the, because all of it is in the typography. No. Text, upper text, text. I think that's the wrong version. Or previous version. Here we go. Which version do we use? Package 4 point something? Paper? 4 point something. So 4.x. Here we should have title. Very, very small. Header. Paper header, data table header, list subheader, that's all. Why does it cut? Why does it cut the display there? Let's say font size 50, let's say. I would expect it to adjust. Apparently it doesn't. Does it just have a fixed height? RTC text, forward ref, context, consumer, theme component. Okay. Does have a slight margin apparently. That shouldn't be a problem. But if we say height 100%, that's probably not it. Yeah, that's slightly too large. Do I have to make it flexible? Putting as assignable type number 1. Mapping a shadow node of type RTC text. I think we need to reload. Oh, there's failed property type invalid prop flex. Okay. Reload, please. React native paper title clipping. There we go. React native text gets vertically cut off for no reason. We kind of have the same problem, even though this is React native and not React native paper. Oh, do we have some kind of padding on the container, left and right? Other than that, it just centers the content. Oh no, it spaces it evenly, which is fine. Is necessary anyway? Yes. Necessary? No. Okay. Do we have a padding up here? We do not. At least it doesn't appear to be. Yeah, the app bar is there, but it only has a margin at the top, but not at the bottom. Let me just give it padding. In, let's say, that look like? Oh, that does look better. Oh, wait. Overflow. It's not working. Great. How do we fix this problem? I mean, the quick fix would be to just use padding. Zero. So doesn't even change the margin on the right thing. Whatever reason, the margin not transform. I have a typo. Please. CSS. You can spend so much time just trying to push a very tiny pixel. No, line height 30. Is it because of the line height? Line height. That's the height of a line box. Commonly used to set the distance between lines of text. Ah, that's not it. Specify the minimum height of line box within the one replaced in line. Yeah, okay. So that's line height, But the line height is not the problem. Other than that, we have font size being very, very large, writing direction left to right, text line, font weight normal, heading, letter spacing, margin vertical. We do this. Quick fix. Ugly quick fix. Then you're back to 32. You're more like 8 maybe. Which it is slightly annoying because this can be fairly large on small devices. This keyboard will be very, very large. Might even change the type. I want it. We're currently in Japanese mode. Let me switch back to switch back to English. You can do it. Oh, the keyboard is apparently the same. Okay. But this can be fairly large, which pushes everything to the top. And I fear that if we make the padding too large, the horizontal padding, the vertical padding, might get into trouble on that front. So that there's not enough space. Maybe is it on this phone? This phone is fine, I think. I have the previous version of the phone that you see currently on screen. Is a Pixel 4. On my Pixel 3 it works just fine. But let me just quickly get the other version. My old phone, a Sony Compact. And a back. So here you see things get a lot smaller, and in particular, if I enable the app bar, which is enabled by default, so now we have another app bar, things start to get smaller and smaller, as you can see. Do this. For example, the highlights question doesn't look that great anymore. And putting vertical padding additionally into this means the part of this would probably go below the keyboard. I guess that's how it is. Do we have other visual glitches like this? I hope we don't. I hope we don't. Because it stopped working again. Alright. Well, we kind of fixed that as well. No, did we? Can I make it smaller? Yeah, 4 seems to be working fine as well. Does title have other forms of style, like a container style? No. Yeah, something with style. No. Nothing thereof. Accessibility, blah blah. Nothing. Nothing. And also, by the way, say this is the header. Do we see this, by the way, in the inspector? We do not. Performance, network, touchables. No. Right. All right. We might have the same glitch. Now that I think about it, we might have the same glitch for this friend here. But it doesn't look like it does. Can I change you into... Come on, Japanese input, please work. Not working. Import not working. Japanese. Oh, good. Yeah. If. And by the way, switch back to English so that you can actually read something. Ah, there we go. There it is also. So let's make a comment here. Quick fix. Title gets clipped at top. Without padding. And then we take this over to exactly the same thing for full text. Here, save. And now we're good. Yep. Everything did push slightly down. Probably haven't seen. So. Yeah. It moves ever so slightly. I hope it won't cause too much trouble. All right. So that's fixed. We do have this initialized. We might want to... Oh, we do not have the T function, do we? We might want to do that. Friends localized default questions. There we go. So that it's even clearer what actually happens here. We put the return there. No. set it and then we return. Okay. Works. Ask me. Works well enough. Bumps, bumps, bumps. And these are good as well. Then we have a feature. Dailies. Questions. Yes, questions. Let's just do this. Questions and dailies. And the feature is localized for questions on first app start. Web apps. Oh, something is not okay. Forgot to save you. Okay. Done. And with that, one feature finished. One more. So we basically decided for this B version, which was on first open. So this one didn't work, by the way. Statically translating didn't work. B on first app open after language detection finished, which happens to be the case, fortunately. Set the question with translated title and long question. That's what we're doing. And with that, we have the complete feature finished, and we can just move it to the done column. High five. Drink some tea. Yeah, tea for everybody. Nice. Okay. Let's quickly switch back to the default questions, actually. To the English default questions, I mean. Oops, my bad. Come on. Hit that button. Go. And we restart once more. And vanish. We can probably work on this. How long have we been streaming? 1 hour and 19 minutes. Okay. So, back to normal stuff. And now did it freeze? Ah, that's the emulator being emulator and breaking. Ah, emulator. Come on, you can do it. Come on, emulator, do your thing. Wait, it's not found? Okay, no. That's the thing that always causes trouble. Not always, but often. Alright. Okay. Alright. That finished. That being finished. We can now try to avoid changing the questions. Resetting the daily questions when we change the order. So when I do this, I put in some numbers. Let's just say we go up to the default screen. I can manually reset, right? And back we are. Or I can also stop in the middle. I can still navigate and go back, and the state is still there. And I can even change the title, for example. Oops. English, please. Why is my English keyword now a Japanese keyword? Why is my English keyword now a Japanese keyword? I'm back to English. Oh, there we go. No, don't do that. There we go. Okay. Back to English. Let's. So, goals 2. I can even save this, and it stays. And when we step through this, we see that goals now has changed. But what happens if I change the position of this? Now, without telling you, it actually resets everything. As you can see, we do not have anything here, and the complete state has been lost, and we have to answer again all of the questions. And I would like to avoid that, if possible, for these simple states. What actually happens if we change this into full text? Oh, it stays. Oh, that's a bug. No. Reset dailies if question type changes. That's the bug. And that's actually probably a blocker for what we intended to do. Because we have to change the logic. No! The freaking logic that was so terrible to write. Oh no! So, no serious question list changes. If the IDs are identical, we just assume that things are good. But that's not correct, in fact. I think we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. This becomes cached questions. So this caching we use to identify when stuff has changed. One thing that we want. So what do we want? If a question was added, archived, moved, oh boy. Contract resolution logic is terrible to write, I think. But I think we have to go through it. So what do we want? We can do a lot. In the extreme case, we can avoid resetting avoid resetting everything if we can avoid resetting everything every time by just deleting stuff and adding stuff. Basically replicating the changes that we do to these questions and replicating them to the questions that we use here. Oh boy. If we do that, we can avoid pretty much all the changes. Goal? Is that the goal? It's so much more complicated, to be honest. Goal. Go. So if no changes, questions implies no reserved state. Then, depending on the changes, this is kind of the I'm now writing down the extreme ideal world. If oh boy, if title changed, change title, preserve preserve all other state. If long question long change, do the same. Change question long, preserve all other state. If now comes the harder part. If type changed, so when it switched from a point question to a full text question, then change question type, change the type inside of the replicated state for our dailies, change type of question, invalidate or reset answer of that question, preserve all other state. If excuse me, if the position changed, it's always, oh boy, oh no, that's fine. If the position changed, change position, preserve all state, in fact, but reorder. So the first non-answered question. So if you're changing the order, you might be pushing a non-answered question to the very top, for example. Then you probably want to see that question first, even if you're on a, or we just say, we then show you this question first, even even if you're still on another question. If what else can change? If a question is added, preserve all state at the question and show the first non-answered question, which might possibly be the question that you've added, or it might be another one. And then if a question was archived, remove question from state. So first non-answered question and that's it. Oh man. Alright, we have to replicate this over different places. Hashtag not fun. Oh boy. I mean, we can do everything on almost everything. Can do almost everything on Redux level. So it's pure logic, which is good. And then if on summary screen a change happens while on summary screen, show the first unanswered question if it exists, else refresh summary screen. Hopefully works. Unanswered. Show the first unanswered question. So to do this, in general, always, no, not always, if there is an unanswered question, if there is at least one unanswered question, i.e. we're not finished yet, display the first unanswered question in the list. That we might get where we want to go. I sure hope we do. I sure hope we. I'm going to go for a quick break, like 5 minutes, suppose 5 to 10, and then we try to tackle this one, which might be complicated, but nice. Very nice. Yeah, by the way, it already resolves this here. Because the only reset never happens, in fact. Reset never happens. No. Oh boy, man. This is going to be terrible, I feel. All right. See you in a bit, like 10 minutes or so. back. All right, let's get to it, huh? Shall we? So I've already written this in kind of a reducer-based system style, kind of. I think we can use that for advantage. I sure hope. Why is it worth it? Looks super ugly. Particularly, we have to replicate everything. Is there a... What would be the alternative? We keep what we have. You can change the title and question long. You cannot change the order without a reset. And we additionally reset when you change the type. It would be another version. So let's first implement that one, I think. So I think that's already it. Yeah. And q.type is equal to the cache type. Question was added, archived, moved, or its type changed. Reset everything, then reset everything. Otherwise, keep the state and the text. I think we already basically have this bug fixed now. So this one would be more for the avoid part. Let's double check. Currently, it did not reset currently, right? So now we have progress, we have goals, which is now full text. But if we go there now, and we change this to points, it should have reset. Yeah, okay. So that fixes this bug at least. At least. And I will just move everything over to here. So we kind of just hedged our risk, which is good. Which means we can now say fix. This is dailies. Reset questions dailies if question type changed. There you go. So that's that. And now, after I've done this, and first move that one over to the done column. Very nice. High five. Now we can think of the reset again. It requires quite a bit of work, I feel. Let's push it down. It doesn't happen too often. doesn't happen too often. And in that case, it's okay if you and in that case, it's okay. I kind of have a feeling that I said this before, but I'm not 100% sure. So that said, let us ignore this. Won't fix. Can we color this maybe? So that we have disable. Icebox. And then when we just move it to done. And we might come back to this. But for the time being, I think I'm good without it. You're good. So that said, what are we missing? What are we missing? History screen is currently, so we have that. The problem is currently that I still need to rework it slightly, but I do need some feedback from a tester. This is what it looks like. What I'm thinking about to have kind of a character limit here. What does it look like if we just add the text after that? History screen. So entry, question, answer, title. Excuse me. Description. But if we take all of them, goes into the second. What if we make a very, 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 very wrong entry? So let's say we do all of that fun stuff, and now we make like lorem ipsum. Just give me the text. This fun stuff. Oh, paste. Paste not working. P. Paste. Paste it once more. And maybe once more. Okay. Isn't this beautiful? Not designed for this kind of size. Next. It works. Well, confirm. And let's look at the history. Oh, it does ... already. I think then we can just leave it. If it does already the ... thing, I think we're good. It's limited to a reasonable size. In that case, I will just leave it. Nice. We just remove that one. Turn all the answers with a space. And then we're good. Nice. Then we can enable the history screen. Does it, by the way, look? I think I've never looked at it in bright mode. Looks okay-ish. Yep. Yes. That being said, we can switch back to dark mode, and we can just enable it. Somewhere I have dev mode. Is it in the navigation? There's. Can just enable you, my friend. Save. Renav is now available to everybody. And then we're good. So this is speed 3. Enable this. Sweet. That means, oops, this one is done indeed, because we did it last or the previous time or something. Let's update the versions. This is then 15. Let's go to app.json where we need to, because we need to rebuild. Am I already on version 14? I think I am. Version 1.14. Yeah, so we need to update this and that one. Save. And then we can say general v1.15.0 Android 15. Go. Then we do a rebuild. So everything up to the GitHub repository now. We then have, I did add a new command, which was eas::build. Because you are able to actually build with the help of Expo application servers without TypeScript actually compiling. I don't want that. I want my TypeScript to be correct because it typically correlates with the correctness of my app. Yeah, we now do it like that. All right, now build is queued. And with that, we can relax now. Relopad. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Or maybe
Relopad joined our tea time.
Rolo, maybe. Welcome to the TypeScript tea time. Good to see you. Cheers. I think I'm about to finish, actually, unfortunately. How are you doing? Yeah. Oh, also Marshy Sloth.
Marshy_Sloth joined our tea time.
How are you doing as well? Yeah, hey, yeah. Next time. Yeah. I suppose. I mean, I could, if you want, I could do something different. Because I planned, although it will be a mess. If you want me doing a mess, working in a mess, then we can do that instead. What I'm working on currently is an application called the Daily Questions app. So every day, let me reset the complete app here. So there is a leadership coach called Marshall Goldsmith. He worked with a lot of clients, a lot of major clients like CEOs from Ford, people from the World Bank, from the United Nations, but something in that direction. And part of, so he is all about engagement, improving, building long-lasting habits. And to develop long-lasting habits, it takes, unfortunately, a surprising lot of effort. And you have to, well, since it's long-lasting, you have to work on it for a long time. And to help you with that, he essentially, maybe you know these kind of employee engagement quizzes where you ask, do you have a best friend? Oh no, it breaks. No, what have I done? Oh, stop the release. Okay, that's unfortunate. We're just doing a build, so it's not a release after all, which is good. Oh, that's unfortunate. What did it break? So let me continue with the introduction while I'm copying this. So building long-lasting habits is fairly hard, in particular for people who work in a job for a very long time, who are successful, but also for people who are not that successful, like non-CEO people, depending on the definition of success, right? So the very simple idea that he had is, you ask yourself every day, you ask yourself a couple of questions. And these questions there are 6 of them. 6. These questions are, let me switch to dark mode because it looks much nicer. The goals question, did I do my best to set clear goals today? And then you give yourself a number between, or you evaluate yourself, you remember what did you do during the day, and you say, yeah, I did pretty well on that front. I also wrote down all of these features, so I say it was a 9. That was a 3. Well, okay, it wasn't that good. Apparently I clicked on the 3 instead of the 9. The keyboard here on the screen and the keyboard here on my keyboard is actually vice versa. Bad day for the bugs. Yeah, maybe. Apparently, at least. Then you ask yourself, did I do my best to make progress towards my goals today? That was, yeah, we did pretty well. Did I do best to find meaning in what I'm doing today? I am working towards the release, which will be the culmination of meaning in this case. So I suppose we can give ourselves the 8. Did I do my best to be happy today? Yeah, we did a small break, not terrible. Let's say a 6. And I can actually click on here, but since this is running in an emulator, I can also just click the number on my keyboard. Did I do my best to build positive relationships today? I think I'm doing a pretty okay-ish job with saying hello to people. So let's say 7. Did I do my best to be fully engaged today? It's basically the meta question, where you ask yourself, did you actually do your best to do the dailies, to remember that you want to improve, to remember that building positive relationships is important, and so on and so on. So let's say this is a 7. This is not part of the main questions that are prescribed in a lax sense by Marshall Goldsmith, but I added it to display that you can actually have full text questions, and I do have this in my personal version of the questions. What was my personal highlight today and why? For me personally, the why question is about finding out what I actually value, because that can be surprisingly hard to immediately say, I like that and I like that, and where do I find my meaning? That's basically what I want to find out. Let's say good time on Twitch stream, even with bugs. Do we have an emoji, a bug emoji? I think we do. Bug. No emoji found. No! Insect? Why are there no emojis for bugs? Shouldn't there be? Well, can't be helped, I guess. Isn't there a bug emoji? You gotta be kidding me. Let's do this one. And finally, you see a summary. So I can say, yes, that's what I want to commit. I think we did better on the daily, so we can just change it by clicking on it, putting in a new number. Then you say, oh, okay, everything is good. It adds it to your history, and the history becomes available. Yeah, there it is. Good time on Twitch stream, even with bugs. And these are the short version of our numbers, of our evaluations. And doing this every day for a fairly long time, and I'm doing this since 2016, I think in a couple of days, I actually have my Jubilee again. Next Monday? Next Sunday, the 24th, another full year of daily questions. I began on 24th of July 2016. So, and I did used to do this every day, or I am doing this every day, but I did used to write it by hand in WhatsApp and sending it over to my partner, basically, who's also doing these questions. And if you write this for 5-6 freaking years, you spend a lot of time on just writing the same thing again and again and again and again without actually starting or wasting time, which you could instead spend on thinking about the questions. And that's when, like 4 months ago or 5 months ago, I just sat down and let's do this. Write down this freaking app, and I did it in one day. the very first day, version of this app was there in one day, and I installed it on my app and I used it for 3 months until I now decided, well, let's improve it, and then actually bring it into the App Store, where it is currently in process, and that part is currently in progress. It is already there. These parts still have to be updated, but it is already there. You cannot download it until now, unfortunately, since it's still in closed alpha. But I hope to release it completely at least to the public in at least 2 weeks. But I hope to be in production too. One thing that was important for me was it completely saves everything only on your phone. A, I like privacy. B, it makes privacy policies and all of that legal stuff so much simpler. There's an option actually to export it if you really, really, really need to. Yeah, and that's the basic app. It also features stuff like graphs. So currently we only have one entry. We don't store your data. And we actually don't. You store it completely on your phone. There's not a single API call in here. There is one, because the thing that we use, the framework that we use, which is called Expo, React Native. It sits on top of React Native. When you start your app, it tries to pull the newest JavaScript version for your installed app. And you can basically have very, very, very quick over-the-air updates. Yeah. Oh, you're working with Expo? Very nice. I'm pretty much only using local storage, exactly. Absolutely. Or async storage, which is the React Native term for local storage. So if I completely mock my history here, we can see some graphs, and it then shows your numbers. This is of course mocked data, which, as you might be able to see, we have like half a month here of all the same values. But with the help of this, I hope you can identify, for example, times where you were specifically, or times where you need specific attention to one specific area. For example, the social part here. Not doing so well for quite some time. Maybe I should put some more focus on that. I'm using, I think, React Native Chart Kit or something like that. React Native Chart Kit. There are surprisingly little libraries for React Native charting, which was but this one works. One thing that you have to be careful with is that your data actually always contains at least one data point, otherwise it will crash. But that's just one thing to be careful about. But other than that, it has a lot of different types. So this is the... do they have the... Yeah, from here you can... apparently they even have a nice little demo here. But they even have like rings, Bezier line charts, which we are using, multiple of them in fact. There are some limitations. You can, for example, not have partial data. So for example, you cannot have a graph that has this. It is German. You cannot have a graph that only has 2 data points, then a gap like March and April. You don't have any data. It will still render it, and then you continue in May. It will still render the March and the April data, or worse, it will just shift the May-June data here and then not have data there if you're not careful. But there will always be some degree of limitation, I suppose. You kind of have to fill in zero data yourself then. And one thing that I was particularly interested, but we haven't built that yet, is this contribution graph, or basically a heat map, because I'm using an app for tracking on which days I'm eating meat, and it has this nice little graph. As you can see, it colors the numbers or the days where I eat meat in red, and green if it's vegetarian. And I want that as well for our app, so you can see on which days you were actually active and which days you forgot. We do have reminders, by the way, so every day, which you can also set yourself. We do have daily reminders, so every day by default, you get a notification at 9. You can also set it for yourself. I would like to personally add lots of analytics to this, but I did release one app before, and it features all of those statistics and all of that fun stuff for me, so I can actually track app usage and decide which features are important and which features are not important, and so on. As you can see, the style is kind of similar. And that's definitely not why, and I definitely not use this app as the basis for the second app here. I would never do that. Whoops. But it was not worth it. And in particular, it is Google material design, exactly. React Native paper, by the way. It was not worth it because not many people used it. It was terrible and it absolute hell to write all of the privacy policy. I also call it Google UI sometimes because all of their fun stuff looks like that, as you can see here. But it pushed the timeline so far out, like, yeah. And in this case, I wanted to avoid all of that. Write a privacy policy in at most one day, which I did, and in fact, I had the complete Google Play Store setup, including privacy policy and so on. I did in one day. I also knew what I was doing and getting myself into, right? Yeah, and to avoid all of that, I did not include any kind of telemetry, analytics, all of that fun stuff. Which is unfortunate because it would be very, very, very interesting and useful for the future of the app. But anyway, it is not there. You can, by the way, find everything online. Daily questions. It is completely open source, even with MIT license, which is that. But I would like to ask you not use the icons if you do so. Also, feel free to contribute if you have any feature that you would like to see. You can build for yourself and install the app already now if you desire to do so. That's perfectly valid. I have it already installed on my phone for 5 months. Basically using Expo build version. I'd love to contribute to more open source. I'm just not great with TSA. I see. That's fine. So let's check out the error that we just saw, unfortunately. Connect daily snaf cached questions. Oh boy, our last commit, our fix broke it. Wait, what? Cached questions at position I is undefined apparently. Daily snap. So, oh man, this is exactly the logic that I hate. Questions. The questions comes in. It is empty. Oh, wait, because we iterate over the questions here. Yeah. Question. Mark. Question mark. So what I'm doing here, so what you can do, that should fix it already. What I'm doing is, so when you have this list here, or you started doing your dailies, for example, you started giving yourself 9 points in goals, and then you decide, I want to change the goals question. That's perfectly fine if you just change the title or the large phrase of the question. That works. But what if you change the question type from a point answer to a complete full text answer? In that case, it should reset at least the answer for this question, right? And now in our case, I cached these questions to determine when changes need to completely reset the questions. Earlier today, I was thinking about making this like a complete merge logic, auto conflict resolution logic, but that's terrible. So I just reset. But what can happen is that you actually have more questions for example, by adding a new question. And if we revert this once more, if we do this and we add a new question, ASDF here, then it will crash again. The reason being, these cached questions do not match the length of the questions that we get from Redux from our store, because I added a new question, right? But here I'm iterating over the length of the questions in store, which might be more than the questions that I have cached. And that's why this was undefined just now. And .id was undefined.id, which explodes. But if I just add a knowledge coalescence, no, that's not knowledge coalescence, that's, yeah, 4 is not equal to 5, that's correct. Most of the time, except if you are in unitary numbers. Not unitary numbers, but in the number system which contains only the 1 or only the 0 or only the 2, because they are all the same. I'm a mathematician, sorry about this nerd talk. So if we add the question mark, which means, well, if this is undefined, do not evaluate all of the fun stuff. It's basically the same as writing not cached question and, or actually this, it checks whether it is defined, or true the actually, and then evaluates this fun stuff. It's just a short version. I forgot the name. It's not, is it knowledge coalescence? You need to go now to review some stuff. Enjoy the review. I'll have my first React Native job interview. Ooh, nice. Good luck on that. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, Renaud. Hope to see you next time in the TypeScript tea time. Null protection. Yeah, optional chaining. That's it. Homeless. Hey, good to see you. Coming in with the knowledge of all them JavaScript. And I think this is actually a newer, it's a JavaScript feature, not just a TypeScript feature by now. But it is a newer one. Optional chaining, you're right. And that fixes it, I think. So we can say fix, and we probably should change the version then. .1 app.json 1. I do not need to change the version code because I have not committed. So this version code becomes important. It's basically another version, but it becomes important when you're actually pushing it to Google Play Store. They want you to increase or have a unique number, and it probably needs to be increased. Typically you increase it by 1 for each release, but it can also you can also skip a couple of numbers. I think I have releases for 1, 12, 13, 15. Yeah, I do. You can see my history it's fairly small, fairly long. Mostly because the changes are fairly small, so you can actually understand what's happening. In general, I like to commit more often than not. It helps. I'm one of those I'm one of those people who, when they don't stage something, they start changing and then it breaks, and I'm in a state where I can't get back, or I forgot how to get back. So I at least stage very often. Whenever it's running again, I like to just stage. And then ideally, if it runs, why not do a commit? It doesn't hurt, most of the time at least. Then again, I also work with interactive rebases. So before I actually merge into main or master in a team where I'm actually working with other people, this is just one person currently. This works, I better push. Yeah. Very nice mentality. Should I call you Slot? Because that's the noun in the name, right? Although Marshy is also nice. It sounds like Marshall. Again, the person this is based on is Marshall Goldsmith, so maybe it's you. Where was I? I use interactive rebases to actually clean up the history so that ideally every single commit inside of there works and can be built, because that becomes important when you find a bug and you want to use git bisect to identify which release, which commit actually introduced that bug. You want to at least have a buildable version of every single commit. That very much helps to identify the bug. That's why in a team I try to only have commits that actually work. So fix which is dailies. Actually, it's general. Maybe we can just reference this one. Give me that ID. App crash on first open due to changes in what he says. Webs. Done. Commit. And then we can do yarn EAS build once more. And now let's at least try to open the app once more and see that it is really fixed. That's always a good thing before deciding that a bug is really fixed, right? So we clear the store again, because that's one place where we cleared storage. When we open up the app, it is completely reset. In that case, the question list will be empty, and then it will be initialized to the default questions in your specific language, which is what we did earlier today. And in that case, it also has this change from, well, it is empty, so the cache questions will be empty, but then after that the questions will be more. So we again have this index out of bounds error essentially. Let's start the app and see whether that worked. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bottom, bum, bum. Yes, nice, very nice. And now it's just Expo being Expo again and breaking our app. Yeah. There's an overlay in Expo that should pop up, but sometimes it doesn't, and every time that happens, it just crashes the app. The other day I looked up what sus means, but I forgot. It's a Twitch term, right? It's like good, giving the impression that something is questionable or suspicious. Seriously? Yeah, I think you're up to something. Ah, there it is. There's the pop-up finally. Is suspicious the meaning of sus? Let's try it again. Maybe this time Expo is nice. The Expo gods are nice to us. I think Expo doesn't like it when the keyboard pops up immediately. Points question. Is that the problem? Autofocus. You're not Marshall. Let's see. Do it again. Come on, Expo. Or is it our app that's crashing? That would be annoying. That would be pretty annoying. Come on, Expo. Do the Expo thing. It crashed again, I think. Man, why? Or do I have to open Expo once? If I do this first. And now I open the app. Does that work? That works. Okay, so it's not our fault. Let's re-enable this one. And I have no idea why I write through there. That's not necessary, but whatever. I think we're done on that front. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Language setting. Yeah, I'm super happy how that works now. So let's go to language. We kind of finished it 90% earlier. But now it's complete, and in particular also the data is localized. So the default questions are localized. That was one of the remaining issues, or that was the remaining issue. That these questions have not been localized. Oh, it worked completely. Nice, very nice. I'm still having the word dailies up here, even though it's German. Now, if you switch back to English, because this is data now, the questions will stay in German. Be aware of that. But I suppose that's fine. If your system language is set to German, say, or Japanese, I suppose you can speak Japanese and you are able to transform it back. By the way, if you want to know more about this daily question, the original daily questions, you can find them in this video. It's like 4 minutes long. And Marshall Goldsmith explains the daily questions one by one, giving you examples as well, and why it's chosen that way and so on. All right. Sweet. That works. Did I initiate the rebuild? I didn't. Do the rebuild thing. And also, please change my language again to English. Come on. To English, so everybody can see it. All right. So we got that fixed. Fortunately. because that's not the window that I want. So this time the bug is really fixed. Reset dailies if question type changed. Hopefully. Never say never, right? So one thing that we could do is develop a password reset functionality. I'm fiddling around with AWS Amplify again. AWS Amplify is complicated. What do you mind if I put it as reference for learning TSX? Feel free, absolutely. Did I... Daily questions? This one? Absolutely. If you know JSX, TSX is not that hard. Yeah, feel free. So if you want to, the basic idea is, well, the global stuff is up here. It uses Redux, which is what the source is about. The entry point is app.tsx, and then you can go from there. By the way, did you know that if you hit the dot button, it actually... Oh, it doesn't work anymore? Did they stop that? Or do I have to be signed in? Oh, I have to be signed in. So if you're logged in GitHub and you just hit the dot button, it actually opens VS Code in the browser, which is pretty cool. And then you can read it much nicer. Although some features are not as usable as on the installed version. Yep, just hit dot. But you have to be logged in, apparently. I noticed that just now. Right. Try it. Yeah, the dot button. Full stop. However you call it. Yeah, navigation works slightly less, unfortunately, because it doesn't index, or at least by default it doesn't index all your files or something like that. I don't know. They probably have to do that. I mean, usually you can just click, for example, here, and then you go into the definition. That doesn't quite work with the browser version. In particular, not for, probably at least not for installed dependencies, but it might work sometimes, whether you have indexing enabled and so on for your own code. Yep. All right, us. Yeah. So that being done, this is running. Let's go to Amplify. AWS Amplify. If you've worked with Firebase, or if you've worked with Azure Mobile, I think is what they call it, that's exactly the same. Basically, a way to work with the AWS services, or Superbase. Superbase is another one of those. Work with AWS services in a fairly comfortable way. Very, very much from the front end only. You do not need a backend anymore. Or the backend is pretty much defined by you using, for example, this, and then some, which is GraphQL, and then it provisions it automatically. Using a CLI, one-line interface. There is one super weird bug, because when I run anything with Amplify here, I get this. Amplify is the CLI of Amplify. Surprise. I get this error, but when I do the same, programming, yes, inside of here, it actually works. amplify status. VS Code does something with your terminal that apparently Amplify does not like. In fact, Versal, I think, was it? Earlier we had Ryan Lisse in the stream, who developed an app with Next.js, and Versal is the company behind Next.js. Today's naming. Their CLA somehow has a similar problem. So if you start up with Amplify and you notice the CLI is not working in my VS Code, try to use it without VS Code in a regular terminal, even though the shell is completely identical. As you can see, if I do echo $shell, it's Z shell and it is here as well. Echo. For whatever reason, VS Code is apparently tinkering with your stuff. So what I have here, let's start this app up as well. Oops. I mean, I can just probably, and then we can close that fun stuff. Huh? Was I running the emulator from there? Apparently I was. Okay. Emulator, start up again, please. No, emulators doing emulator things again. Come on, kill. Do you work now? Yes, you do. Right. I'm swapping to Bash in VS Code. I haven't. That would be another idea, yeah. Maybe it's also a Z shell together with VS Code thing. I don't know. But I also don't want to switch to Bash, to be honest. I mean, we can just do this, right? Is it now? That's not Bash. How do I dive into from a Z shell into a Bash? I don't know. Whatever. Well, I just use a separate terminal for now. Why do I have to open? Oh, okay, that's that one. Oh, here we go. So what we currently have, maybe I just show you the app. First of all, it's basically the daily questions app. So I'm the app that we saw earlier, but the difference here is I'm actually doing backend stuff. There's a drop down on the right. This one? Oh, nice. Can I? Do you do stuff? Oh no. I think I've. Now we're in Bash. from Bash, I immediately start Z shell. I need to remove that line. When I did the Z shell setup, I wasn't sure how to set up my default shell. So I just started. Whenever I start Bash, I started Z shell instead. Which worked. It did work. So if I do amplify status inside of here. Oh, it's not linked up. That's interesting. Apparently amplify is not installed inside of Bash. Well, let's leave it at that, I guess. So we have a sign-in. And first of all, I need to sign up, I think, with an email that is not private. So I need to use TypeScript, teatime plus test@gmail.com. We give it a very, very hard password. And then we can sign up. I then now get an email which looks like this. I will show you. Your verification code is blah, blah, blah. And this is already using AWS services. This is currently using talking to AWS Cognito, which is the identity service from AWS. Confirm. And now we should get logged in. Maybe we don't. Something broke. This user is not authenticated. Sign up successful. Interesting. Script time plus test at gmail.com. Password. So what is wrong with the user now? I need to log into AWS quickly. I need to log into my to LastPass first. Master password. Remember the master password. Let me quickly go off screen here, so I do not provide any private information. Missing a route. I don't know. I probably messed up something on the confirmation screen. I also have like multiple changes here, but probably that's the problem. Password reset required error. That was what I was working on recently. Sign up screen autofocus. I'll be right back. Just providing all my credentials so I can log in. Right, that's it already. Next we need to log into AWS. Where is it? Find the right account. In and multi-factor authorization. It's a couple of days. Unfortunately, my Chrome stopped, or it resets my login with my password manager again and again and again and again and again and again. Each time I reset my whole, each time I reboot, which is super annoying. The good part is I remember now my master password, which is not terrible. So I need to clear just a little bit of data. You and you and you, and I want to delete all of you guys. Type delete from deletion. There it is. All right. So apparently confirmation has not worked. When I show you this now, so this is Amplify Studio, which is basically a front end for the back end. So it becomes slightly easier to manage. What we can see is that this user currently, basically it's like an admin UI, if you want to say so. This user is currently unconfirmed, so apparently the call to confirmation has not worked. Confirm sign up screen. Oh, because I disabled it. well, that explains why, I guess. That explains why. Let's enable this again. Fix auth, re-enable, confirm, sign up. So, and now if we do the same thing again with a slightly different user, so sign up, TypeScript ttime plus test2 at gmail.com. And this is a very, very nice feature from Google. You can just use aliases by using the plus between your the actual name of your account to provide any kind of alias, and it gets redirected to your inbox, to your main inbox. So sign up. I now get another email. Mail. There, it's still open. Found ya. Verification code is 888474. Confirm. And now we're logged in. So we have a login. And the fun part that I was actually fiddling with is online questions, which uses a direct connection with the API on AWS to add questions. For example, hello Twitch chat. Full question: did I do my best to say hi to people in Twitch chat? Question mark. Create. And it currently does not refresh, but if I refresh, it pulls it from the server and then displays it. And if we go in here to the content, we now see it is actually in the backend. And we do not have any form of server ourselves, which is what? Which you would normally do. Because with the help of AWS Cognito and more of Amplify stuff, we actually get very, very small permissions to interact with AWS. And then can write stuff like, hello Twitch chat, there it is. Did I do my best to say hi to Twitch chat? And what's more, without me having to provide any kind of authorization, all I did was basically just say, well, this schema.graphql add auth. So it should use authorization and it should only allow the user to read this. If I log out and I create another account, because why not? TypeScript ttime plus test3 at gmail.com. Always using the same password, because why not? So don't do that in reality. We get another email. Verification code. This time it's 913259. And I did not write any of the actual logic on the server, by the way. All I did was link this up and then provide the front end. Now I cannot see the data. This person, so test3, has their own directory essentially. It is all saved in the same database at the very eventually, but it has an owner ID, and only people who have this ID can actually access that data without me having written pretty much any code at all. It does require a bit of setup and fiddling around and all of that fun stuff. Fun. because since you cannot see it, it is actually fairly complicated. But yeah, you have a complete setup without much work. In fact, if we look at the authorization logic, for example, this confirmation, this is basically all I'm doing. Auth.confirm signup, which actually interacts with the backend, and it's doing all the things on its own. Yeah. Well, if you use Firebase, that's pretty much the same, right? You have your sign in with Google. You can, which is it? Firebase Firestore, was it? Yeah, Cloud Firestore. Which pretty much provides you with the same functionality without, and I think it is even per person. We can, by the way, if we want to, we can disable this. Well, let's say we want to also, let me see, we want to allow, I think it's private, what they call it. We could do this, by the way, with this as well. So view the data model. We can click on this data model here, and we could add another authorization rule like Cognito user pool. Any signed in user authenticated with Cognito user pool. And that includes people who actually use federated sign-in, like sign-in with Google, sign-in with Facebook, Twitter, and so on. If you've set up Cognito in the correct way, which can be fiddly, but it's way easier probably still than when you do it on your own. So let's remove that rule. We can instead write it like this, and now we can say, well, amplify, push the changes that I've made locally to the backend, and the changes currently include that we allow private, and private means everybody who's logged in, every signed in Cognito user can in fact do something, and we see the changes that we have is to our API, which is correct. And it's now doing the thing. We have to wait for a couple of minutes, and then we will in fact see the data of the other person as well. So with that, you can have kind of shared data, for example, a profile picture, or some profile, some shared resources, a motto or something like that, maybe the name of the user. But then on the other hand, private data, in the sense of really, really private individual data that you don't want to share, can still be protected and only visible to the one person that's actually allowed to see it. Yeah, the build times or the provisioning times sometimes take a bit. Under the hood, Amplify, I think, also handles all of the, or at least most of the, so it's using OAuth under the hood, OAuth 2. This Amplify library. But whenever you're trying to do a request, and for example, the OAuth token has expired, it automatically tries to refresh the token and then redo the request and all of that fun stuff. Things that you have to take care of, maybe, when you actually get locked out, probably. I don't know. There are cases where you want to be careful with, but you can basically subscribe to authorization events, for example, to handle all of that fun stuff. unfortunately, so these are the nice things about Amplify Studio, Amplify. Things that are super annoying are the documentation. Oh man. I don't know. I don't know. The framework documentation can be very, 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 very hard. So because they deliver to a large amount of frameworks and all of that fun stuff, it can be hard to understand. In particular, so you have the getting started, for example, for React, but you also have the libraries, which has API GraphQL authentication, but you also have guides, which also has API GraphQL and authentication. And the information is split here and there and there and a bit of there. The UI libraries, the React Native one is code crap. I didn't get to work it at all. So eventually I built my own. On React, at one point with our streams, we built an application that completely used the AWS Amplify UI React library, and that one was amazing. It was so super simple. This complete sign-in was basically this code, and that's it. And that was completely it. And we were even able to customize it slightly so it has our colors and all of that fun stuff. We did that in the if you want to check it out, it's in the tea shop, my little tea shop or something we called that project. Yeah, so that one worked very well. The React Native one, not at all. At least not for me. Yeah, and then I don't know, the documentation is like you have to read there, a bit of your information is here, and a bit of your information is there, and a bit of other information is more here. A TypeScript, it does not support TypeScript at all. For whatever reason, it is written in TypeScript, but I do not have TypeScript scripts. Free. Yeah. Well, to be fair, AWS has a very, very large free tier. You can build complete apps and services completely for free. In particular, for example, AWS Cognito has a number of users for free that you will not reach with your average app. 50,000 active users, monthly active users. My other app had like 10 users. And 50,000 active users, even for business applications. Oftentimes you only have 200 users, but you still are in the millions of sales. So this can, for a lot of services, this is far more than enough. In fact, they do have a nice free tier, but when you reach the limits, well, you still have to pay, right? So, GraphQL Transformer version 2, apparently. We should now see that this is hopefully, if I refresh, can I refresh somewhere? Refresh. Do we see? We do not see it in here, huh? Don't we? Oh, no, there it is. Any signed in users authenticated with Cognito user pool can create, read, update, and delete questions. That's what we just set up. And now if I refresh, I hopefully see The refresh does not. The refresh is slightly more involved because we are using a library, additional library called the data store, which handles all of the synchronization logic, but sometimes it doesn't really synchronize the way that we want for whatever reason. So let's go to TypeScript ttime plus test, was it 3, I think, at gmail.com. Password. We should be able to see all of the questions now. Yes, that works. How many different apps can you use with Cognito? Well, in what sense? You mean with how do they count the free tier? I don't know. I would expect, but I don't know. Please read that for yourself if you want to know more about it. That they collectively, so you have 20 different apps, they all count together towards your 50,000 free users, I would expect. Other than that, you can have infinitely many apps, or there might be a default limit. But if you go to my Cognito here, for example, it shows multiple different backends, and these are all different projects. So, for example, this Amplify Studio thing, the admin UI essentially, it in fact uses, in the background, it uses itself, as you can see here. I currently have like two projects on here, each with their associated admin backend, which have their own login, in fact. Which are not the AWS logins, by the way. There is a separate login which you can use if you don't want people to use AWS, which is absolutely reasonable, I would say. That your regular operations people should not use the heavy AWS frickin' service overload, which it does have, which is one of my main one of the points which I tend to complain about with AWS, and the naming. Oh. Why can they not copy the naming convention from Azure, which is so good? Most of it, at least. Most of it. Like, call virtual machines just VMs. Woo! Or Azure Virtual Machine, not EC2. Yeah, so you can have like multiple completely different user pools. There might be a limit of user pools or projects that you can connect by default, but then you can probably contact them and ask them to, at least that's the regular way. EC2 also has like the VM service of Amazon also has like a default limit, which you can then ask to increase. Thanks for joining in, Marshy Sloth. Nice to see you. Hope to see you next time. You want to use next week? You want to use Cognito next week? Good. Yeah. Dive also into the documentation, I think, of Cognito itself. Even if you decide to use Amplify, you will probably still need to read the documentation of the underlying service Cognito. At least I found it to be very, very beneficial and in fact necessary to understand what's going on. Because there is a learning curve to Amazon, to AWS, and to each service inside of AWS itself as well. Ah, sweet. Yeah. We did, in fact, if you're interested in that, we did TypeScript tea time, exclamation mark, GitHub, inside of here, in one of our projects, I think Cognito Amplify, Nest.js, GraphQL, Cognito. So Nest.js is sitting on top of Node and Express. We were able, and a lot of code is very similar, to have an authorization and authentication, both, provider using Cognito. The one thing that if you want to integrate it with your own backend, you will probably want to take a look at this resource. How do I find my... So what Cognito gives you is a URI, JKS, and it's using OAuth and JWK, JavaScript Web, JSON Web Token, and JWT is JSON Web Token, and for each JWT you in fact have a JWK, which is a Java Web Key or key pair, depending on what kind of system you're using. Because you can either sign your stuff with a single symmetric key, or you use asymmetric encryption. In Cognito, I'm not sure whether it uses it by default or whether we set that up, but you can at least use asynchronous. And then there's somewhere, where did I put that freaking URI? Somewhere there's a URI. Public decorator, no, JWKs, get JWKs. That's probably it. Here. There is, you get a URL, and then you have /.-well-known/jwks.json, which is the place where you get the public key to verify that the JWK that you get from the front end actually is valid. And then you can trust the front end, and you know that is the person that you have. So the logic, depending on how you set it up, you can set it up so that the front end completely talks to to Cognito. It receives back a token, and then it sends the token back to the back end, where you want to access all of your data. The backend just has to verify that this token is valid and not expired. And to do that, it needs from Cognito these JWKs, the JSON Web Keys, and they are just public. These are the public keys, so that you can verify that the stuff that is inside of the token that you get from the front end is indeed valid. And there was also a guide. Did I write is this still running? / Oh, why? Yeah, there it is. So this is public data. This is how it looks like. Let's put this inside of here, format document, and you can then see these are the keys. This is the public key that you need to use together with the algorithm and so on, so that you can decide, well, is this signature and this token that I get from the front end in fact valid. So the front end can do all the authorization logic. It can do it on its own, and your backend also pretty much does not depend on Cognito, which is pretty nice. So the dependencies is basically just backend front end and Cognito. And the only thing that the backend needs from Cognito is this key, which you can find under this URL. This is all part of the Cognito documentation, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So you might want to take a look at this, just to get an idea of how to link things up. I find that at least to be the split of responsibilities I find to be fairly nice. Again, not depending on Cognito. You can also do it differently. Basically, you can also, if you don't want the front end to depend on Cognito, you can also do it completely via the back end, of course. Basically, your backend is just a proxy in that case, at least for Cognito with proxies. That's also fine and works. And it might bring you some additional features. In particular, you can switch off identity providers more easily if you ever decide to do so. You're not as much linked into the Cognito system as you would otherwise. So, man, now we talked an hour about Cognito and AWS Amplify. Do I really want to start with the password reset? So currently, reset your password is exactly the same component as the other one. Let's do it. So forgot password. Let me check the clock. Okay. So let's go back to the amplified documentation, which is somewhere. Where did I put it? And here. So forgot password. Here we go. So send the confirm. Basically, we call authentication or auth.forgot password. Auth comes from AWS Amplify. It's a global. Provided the username, or in our case the email, and then it sends an email to our user. If we do that and it was successful, even if it was not successful probably, we then want to redirect the user to a second screen where they can insert the confirmation code and a new password. And then, are they immediately logged in? I don't know. Maybe. We will see. So let's get that one rocking. So we have forgot password. We want, what do we want? We want an email. No, just an email. Just the email. So we do not need password. Reset password. We did not hook it up, huh? Authnav. Forgot password. Oh yeah, forgot password screen probably. That should help. So we can say something like, well, TypeScript ttime plus test3@gmail.com. Now if I click on reset password, what would it do? It would do sign in, which is not what we want. We want forgot password on sign in. So you have to provide an email. So let's just do it like that for now. And then we call forgot password with the email. Toggle arrow Done. This is our authentication. I'm using the context API to and a provider to essentially do all the authorization and authentication stuff. Sign in stuff and sign up and all the fun. So what we want is something like const forgot password is equal to an async, which takes the email, and currently I think it just does the following. Wait, auth dot forgot password of email. So there might be, we might want to put this into a try catch, because it should never fail for safety's sake. So you cannot just go through the complete list and then identify which users actually are signed up. That should do it. We have to pose it. And then we want to probably navigate to confirm forgot password. What do they call it? Password, forgot password submit. Well, let's stick to the naming then. Forgot password submit. Submit. There we go. We again need the username. So I think we take the email here and provide it. And then we have to go to our navigation. We have to add another component here. Another screen. And this needs to be added to our list. Not sure why I'm using this version. Probably because I had white space inside of there at some point. Currently I do not. String. And then forgot password. Submit screen. Also need to rename you. Be consistent. So now this friend here jumps over to forgot password submit screen, which needs username, code, and new password. We do get the email, but it's not inside of there. It's more complicated. It is route dot something something. Nope. So route params email ring rip what password email, and from there where did it go? No, there it is not. There it is. So we now receive the email, which we can const email is equal to props.route.params. Do not use email and set email. What we do need is password and set password. By default, it is empty. We will do that in a minute. And then loading, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. We need to do rename in forgot password screen. I don't forget about it. If not password. An error, otherwise forgot password submit email code and password is what we need. Code and password. We apparently also need a code and set code. PW. You should come from there. And we have to write this method in a minute. So now on the text input side, we probably want a password, a new password maybe. Value is PW, set PW password. Set our to false, that works. We need another one for the code. Set code. Confirmation code. So this comes from the email. The user can provide it. I will just leave it at that. And reset password. Confirm password reset. Something like that. So next, we need to implement this function, right? So inside of here, we can say const forgot password submit is equal to async of what he said, I think. Say wait. And our username is email and password is password. So that should fix that part. And after that, I think we go back to the sign-in without any parameters. All right, let's try it. Reset password. TypeScript ttime plus test at gmail.com, for example. Reset the password. Check the credentials and try again. Apparently we got an error. Unable to resolve /forgot password. Ah, okay, we have to reload the app, I think. Yeah. One annoying thing that I have not been able to figure out is this actually comes from this promise rejection that the user has not authenticated comes from the global amplify object, and we cannot really control that. At least I have not seen a way to do so. Maybe I'm also missing something in the setup. That's possible. Right. Forgot password. Another one. TypeScript ttime plus test at gmail.com. Reset password. And something wrong. Yeah. So one here and forgot password. Oh, by the way. Submit. Confirm. password reset. So forgot password screen. Reset. Request password reset. And if we get an error, I want to at least print it to the console. Do it. Can I reset password for the user as there is no registered verified email or phone number? Is there not? Ah, okay, indeed. The user is currently unconfirmed. So we have to take one of the other ones. Not sure how I got into the unconfirmed state. Ah, I remember now. Okay. So let's take one of the other ones, which should be easy enough. We just provided 2 there. Reset password. That seemed to have worked. So confirmation screen, confirmation code is now sent to me, I hope. There it is again. Verification code 71853. And the new password, let's just say test 1 2 3 4 5. And well, that should not be visible. Not make it visible. Can also, I would like to switch the order of this. Secure input or something like that. Yeah. So, confirmation code, BAMS, password 1 2 3 4 5. Confirm reset. And now we're back, and now we should be unable subscript ttime plus test2@gmail.com to log in with test1 with what I have here. But if I add a 5 there we are. Nice. That's the forgot password functionality done. And it was fairly simple, at least backend wise. There's some cleanup to be done on the front end, of course. This should probably look slightly nicer and all of that fun stuff, but I'm currently just in the figuring out amplify state. So that should work, I think. One thing that is interesting probably that when I'm just writing anything here, type asdf@gmail.com, I get an error. Username client ID combination not found. And that's actually something that should be handled on the backend. If I have this behavior, I can now basically go through a list of, for example, stolen emails and decide and put all of them in, and then the backend always tells me installed or has an account or has no account. In other words, this looks like a security problem. You can basically enumerate the data on the server. And that's actually a default setting currently on AWS Cognito. That's one of the settings that I personally would expect to be changed, and there is a way to change that. AWS Cognito, error on not found or something. Managing error responses. Yeah, prevent user existence errors is probably what we need. When you enable custom error responses, Cognito authentication APIs return a generic authentication failure response, which is what I think, should have everybody. Otherwise, let's say you've got an account on, I don't know, some not so great page, and you happened to use your actual email. Well, people can just go there, check whether you have an account by providing your email, seeing at what the error response is, and then say, oh, that person, and yeah, all of a sudden you will not become CEO or whatever. So you probably want to enable this behavior. Event existence check. So the question is, how do we do that? I don't know either completely. There's probably a way to do that from within Amplify. From within Cognito. You go into the service. Which one? Find the right one. I have too many tabs open. AWS. So if we go into one of these user pools, sign up experience, and we see the same data basically that we saw in the other admin UI, but slightly more detailed, in fact. User pool properties. Nope. Users, 4 jobs, getting started, delete user pool. Sign in experience. You can also set up other stuff. A password policy, multi-factor device tracking. Did it say something in the documentation that we had open just now? Custom authentication challenge. You can use username password to simulate it using verification based aliases and format of immutable. Quite what we want. Where do I set this? That's the big question. Nope. Messaging. We can also customize what the email would look like. I'm not sure, by the way, how to do localization with this, with the email. It might be something that you want to check before using it in a large project. Clients, is it on the client level? Authentication flow. Nope. Nope. Advanced security. Hosted UI. User pool properties sound like the most promising, but I can't seem to find it. Well, if that doesn't work, we can try the following. We go to, is it somewhere inside of here? We have an Amplify directory. There it is. Contains the complete backend. In particular, we have this here, where we have all the configuration. Do we have something like general, what was it called? Existence error. No, we do not. Can we just set it and it just works? It would be pretty amazing. Save. Maybe. Interesting. So if I go to amplify now, and that's what I mean by the documentation can be kind of hard and fiddly. Sometimes you just have to try it. It's unfortunate. Does it say that anything has changed? Apparently it has. Something has changed. Is it the right change? I don't know. We can also try the following. Can also try to do the following. There's an amplify update command. We can update the authentication. So create or update user pool groups, no. Walk through all the auth configurations. That's not what we want. Do it again. By default configuration. Date. Authenticate logins. Scope done. No. Third party providers, no. The pool groups. Yeah. So I can't find it. And I also cannot remember all the stuff that I have set up. So we might just try to amplify push and hope that it works. Because it did say it has some updates. Question is, how does the update look like? Can we see that? Amplify status, maybe? Oh. No, fortunately not. Amplify status off. Nope. I guess we just push. At this point, I don't know any other way how to find out whether we were right or wrong. Oh, wait. What have I done? This definitely won't work. Do it again. I suppose it would have said your configuration is wrong. Update in progress. Okay, apparently we have an update running. Where is my other window? You can also try the maybe it exists in the old one. Custom attributes, enable case sensitivity. Triggers, tags, advanced security. Nothing. Multi-factor authorization is also a thing. I can't find it. Oh, here we can customize the email, by the way. At least slightly. You can customize it even more. And I suppose you can also do the localization, I would hope. Web clients, analytics, nothing. I cannot find it. No. I don't think it's possible from the UI. So let's see. Are we good already? Yeah, what we can do is hope that the configuration was the right one. Let's test it and see whether it worked. I guess. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. Come on, come on, come on, come on, you can do it. Anything with errors inside of here besides the one that I've added? No, definitely not. Oh, we can even change the email from here. So, did it work? Something happened, apparently, but who knows what exactly. There might be a way to do it with well, there's probably a way to do it with Amplify, with the AWS console directly. Then we would need to pull back in the changes into our Amplify project, so we have it as code as well. But that's slightly more annoying, I think. So, how do the errors look like now? It's the same. That's exactly the same as before. So it didn't work. I'm pretty sure there is a way to do this, but I have no idea how it actually looks like in the end. Push. Well, one thing to be. That's what I mean. Like, documentation is good, okay-ish, but sometimes you don't find the right thing at the right time because it's so massive. Then again, you don't have to build it yourself, and they take care of most of it for you, which is nice. And if you don't care about this security feature, then it would work as well. But yeah, that said, I guess we leave it at that with Amplify. We do have our very, 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 very simple reset password flow, and the basic sign-in complete. And with that, I will leave you. This is the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm your host Mirko. I hope you had a beautiful time. If you liked what you've seen, feel free to follow. Again, thank you so much, guys, for spending time with me. Thanks for the follows as well. Ryan Lissett, Dark God, HPF Runner, Rollerpad, and March Close, also Homeless. Thanks for being here again. I hope to see you next time in the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm your host Mirko again. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.